Well, good morning. Sort of. It's late because we're always late, but it's Saturday, so we got that going for us. So, what are we doing? Well, you may have noticed that the shop is a little messy. So, I got my son out here, and I'm going to sit in the chair and watch him clean the shop. Well, all right, I guess I'll help. But so we're gonna spend an hour or two cleaning the shop up. It's Snowmageddon. What is this? 3 this year? 4? It's got to be. I don't even know what the real feel out is out. It's cold. It is cold, cold. Not like not like Canada Upper Peninsula cold, but it's cold. It's cold for Iowa. It's well into the negatives. Real feel. So, anyways, we're gonna clean the shop up. Then I'll give you a little bit of a tour of the frame and what I have done so far, and then we'll get into today. If there's any day left. All right. Well, you might not be able to tell, but the shop is considerably cleaner. We took about 4 garbage bags of just junk out of here. You know, all the stuff that's just kind of built up, old cardboard boxes and stuff that we've torn off that we're not going to use, and got the floor swept and the top of the toolbox. Look, I can see the top of that bench. It's been a minute since I've seen that, but we're so now that we got that done, we're going to start putting on this lift kit that I talked about in the last video. And we're going to start with the front end because I'm starting to get pieces cleaned up and ready to go on that. And so I'm going to walk you through a little bit of what we're doing. Grady's out here helping me. And yeah, so I'll take you over there. Okay, so we are putting the lift kit on. We're addressing the front end first because that's the more complex part of the project. Plus, that's what I have prepared to start reassembling is the front axle. I still have a whole bunch of cleanup to do on the leaf spring packs, um, the spring shackles. I got to put new bushings in and all that stuff. So we're addressing that first, and I'm going to try to give like an honest review of this lift kit because there was some online that I could find, and it was pretty much all over the place. Some people really liked it, other people really didn't like it. I don't know. I'm going to try to give you my honest opinion and tell you and show you exactly the steps to go through. So, with that being said, on the front end, we basically have 4 brackets that we have to replace. Now, I got 3 of them here in front of me. The 4th one I've actually already put on, which is the 4th one I've already put on, and it's the radius arm drop bracket, which is this guy. This goes on the other side. So this bolts to the factory holes for the existing radius arm, and then you take the existing radius arm and you mount it to that, which I'll show you a little bit more detail and whatnot. But in order to do that, we have to get the rivets out for the old radius arm. Now, I took the easy one because at some point in time in this Bronco's lifetime, it had apparently, that radius arm bracket had been replaced because it was bolted on as opposed to being riveted on. I don't know if somebody hit it real hard or what it is, bent the bracket. Maybe it was in an accident. Who knows? The frame looks fine and everything, but like I said, I don't know. It's all speculation at this point. But yeah, so Grady's drilling out the rivets on the other one, and he's having a great time doing it. So from the factory, they riveted most of this stuff on, and I can bring you in here and kind of show it to you. But it's just a rivet. You know, rivets hold way better than a bolt does, and it's a one shot thing. You know, with the factory, they got a hydraulic press, and it presses them in. The best way to remove these that I have found is by drilling them out and then driving them out with a punch. You can grind the heads flat and stuff like that. And honestly, probably should have done this before we put this new brake line in, but it kind of is what it is. I'm going to grind them down. I think it's going to be easier. So here's the two rivets that are giving us problems right now. I'm just going to grind them down flat and see if we can't drive them through. Well, see if you got, is there a long one that's pointed? Don't hit my hand. Move. Uh, well, unfortunately, my son, well, he smashed his thumb pretty good there. Uh, Poor guy. All I can say is I've been there. So I think unfortunately he was more concerned about hitting my thumb or my hand, and that took his focus off of himself. Which, as much as I appreciate uh, him not hitting my hand, we probably should have reevaluated that whole situation there. So, but with that being said, he's inside. He's pretty tough kid, to be honest. And yeah, he's watching King of the Hill. I would not be surprised if he were not back out here in just a little bit. But with that being said, we are going to continue removing this stubborn radius arm bracket. I think I'm going to try a little bit different approach here. I'm going to try to drill these out. It's going to be not real great because I'm trying to start this at an angle, but we'll see what we can do here. Under what I did with that punch we were using. Go see if I can find it. Okay, well, I found the punch. And this hole lines up pretty good. I know it looks like it's a little bit off on camera. I don't know why, because it's actually a pretty straight shot, but we're going to see if we can drive it out of there. So far, It's going great. Ow. Oh, I missed. I actually need to make that hole just a little bit bigger because I'm pushing on the sides. That kind of moved it. It's starting to go. Oh yeah, now we're moving. A glancing blow. There, I took it out. I don't know where the rivet went. It's over there. Ow. It's going, but it's not going well. I don't know. Did I try this way? Oh, that moved it. Got it. There you go. We got her out. I think we're going to throw that in the sandblaster and really clean her up. Okay. Well, that took forever. But there it is. All cleaned up. I got tired and I didn't get that spot. I still got to get that rivet out of there too. But man, that stuff was packed on there. That's a factory bracket. And I don't know what kind of crazy sealer stuff they put on that, but jeepers cripes, that was like getting a powder coating off. Anyways, I'm gonna get this last rivet busted out of here and get this primed with some self-etching primer and get it painted. But before then, we'll move back on to the frame because we got to get that drop bracket in. All right, well, let's see if we can knock this rivet out. Hoping it won't give me too big of a fight. Well, never mind. I guess it's going to fight me. So, we'll clamp it in here and keep drilling. So we're going to keep trying to drill that out. It got kind of wonky on me there. Wonder if that was enough encouragement for it. Probably not. Oh yeah, there it goes. I'll have to get a punch here. Come on out of there. There we go. That got pushed up a little bit. Let's see if we can. encourage it back where it belongs. Now these need to be drilled out. All these holes need to be drilled out to 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and do that before we paint it. All right, I got the 1/2 inch drill bit chucked up. I tell you what, I just picked these drill bits up at Harbor Freight last night. Their parking lot sale, they're like 40% off or something. $11.99 for a 29-piece set. I have never used Harbor Freight drill bits before, but I gotta tell you, I'm actually pretty impressed. And for $11.99 for almost 30 drill bits, how can you beat that? I bought 2 of them. I might go back and buy more. Well, that didn't work very well. Ow! Starting to get a little irritated here. Just hang on to the dang thing. Was that so hard? Jeepers. All right, well, I moved next door into the paint booth. And got to turn the ventilation system on here. My fan. And we'll get a nice coat of self-etching primer on here. Nice thing about this stuff is it doesn't take too long to dry. Then I can put a nice heavy coat of Rust-Oleum on it. So I'm pretty sure I've talked about it before in the past, but anytime you got bare metal, you want to make sure you're using this self-etching primer. It uses a phosphoric acid to help it really eat into the metal and bond to it. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I've covered that before. So while that is kind of curing up, you can see where we had that old radius arm or radius arm mount. It's a little crummy in there, so I'm going to clean that up here, and we'll put some self-etching on that too. Drill our holes out, and I'll show you how that bracket goes on. All right, well, this is some of that multi-purpose prep. It's just a foaming citrus-based cleaner, I think. I really like it. Does a good job. At least as good as spray away. So you might be asking yourself why I'm not using the rust encapsulator on this particular area. Well, there's 2 reasons. One, that rust encapsulator isn't necessarily for bare metal. And 2, I don't want to get the can open and dirty a paintbrush and stuff just for this small area. So I'm just going to put that on there and call her good. Hey, we got to drill these holes out in the frame 2 to a 1/2 inch to accommodate the larger hardware. And I just leaned up against the wet paint because some idiot went and painted it before he did any of the work. I tell you, sometimes I guess these aren't church pants anymore. Let's face it, I don't have any nice clothing because pretty much everything I have turns into work clothes. So basically the way this works is you get this bracket, and this is the radius arm lowering bracket. And whereas the old radius arm was right in here, this fits in here, and then the original radius arm mounts on the bottom, giving you that 2 inches of lift there. Now, you do have to drill one hole here in the frame, and that comes with a problem. Because when you drill this lower hole, you run into the bolt on the other side, and the bolt can only go up. It can't go down because it'll interfere with the other nuts and bolts that are on this lower part. So, and I'll show you in more detail here, but if the frame rail is sitting here, you have to put bolts in these holes going up into the frame rail and put nuts on it. Well, you can see the alignment there. Here. Just a second. So if you have a bolt right there going up into the frame rail, and you can't put it down, because if you put it down, then you're interfering with the bolt coming up here. It's too close. The nuts won't clear. And you never want your nuts touching. So if you've got that one coming up here, and this one coming up here, there's interference. So you have to run this bolt in this way through the frame rail. Well, even at that, because keep in mind the frame rail is behind there, you don't have enough room to get this nut on. So the other side I had to modify, and I'll go into detail on that. I'm not sure this hardware is a little bit different than the other side, because if you remember, that other side had been replaced before with an aftermarket radius arm bracket. So the hardware that was on that, because I didn't reuse this. And while I'm talking about it, the kit provides grade 5 hardware. I think I would have rather thrown another 10, 12 bucks at the kit and gotten grade 8 all around. But as impressive as this install has been, I'm sure they did their engineering. So anyways, I'm going to get this one in to hold it in place. Now these are locking nuts. So now that we have this in place, we need to snug these up. That way we can get the place where we need to drill our hole for this bolt, for this lower part of this bracket. So these holes don't quite line up right, so I'm going to have to wallow them out if I break my wrist here. So see, these have to fit up in through here. I need to pull this brake line out of here too to make sure I don't hit it when I drill it. And now that you got that all lined up, you can go ahead and drill this hole. Again, being as this is the driver's side, you want to make sure that brake line is clear. I'm just let's put it all on the floor because it's all going to fall there anyways. Let me get a smaller bit. So I have found when you're trying to drill a bigger hole through thicker metal like this and whatnot, going through with a smaller pilot bit tends to help, but I needed to run that bigger one through first to get it centered. Now the 1/2 inch. So I moved you to the back side. So this is that upper bolt that we had, and this is the lower one coming up through the bottom. So now you can see the conflict that is going to transpire if you do not put this bolt in, not this bolt, drop it on the floor. So this bolt here has to go in this way. Actually, on this side, it might clear. It might just clear. Those shavings out of there. It does. It's just going to clear. Now I'll have to show you what I had to do on the other side because that bracket must be just a little bit different. Laid out just a little bit different on that bracket. You know, they use this frame from what, like probably, I don't know if they used this frame in the 70s. At least 1981 to 1996. You'd think they'd be able to get a little bit of consistency. And I don't think it's Ford. I don't think it's Ford's layout with the frame because they made millions of these over the years. And they went down a conveyor belt, and if one item wasn't fitting quite right, they would need to have tweaked. They would have needed to tweak that assembly or fabrication process. Anyways, now you just snug everything up. What a pain. So the reason I'm using a crescent wrench here is for some reason, none of the wrench kits, the metric wrench kits that I have an 18 millimeter wrench in it. I don't know if that's some special size, you know, because I don't know, reasons, I guess. And manufacturer recommends you torque all these to 100 foot-pounds. So I'll get the torque wrench and do that. So like I was saying before, so this is the other side. You can see this bolt is sitting down more in the frame. And this is the factory hole here for this one. You can't see that. This is the factory hole. So I didn't change any of the geometry here, but something just didn't quite line up right. And I had to extensively modify this bolt head to get it to go on there, which at the end of the day is fine. I don't mind doing that, but I can tell you right now, if I was laying underneath the truck doing this with the cab and everything on it, that would tick me off. Didn't I drill that one out? I thought I drilled that one out. I don't know why, but there's a flipping burr or something. Let me go drill it out. Let me really wallow it out. Ow. See, this is where I start getting into having an issue with this kit because nothing lines up like perfect. You're kind of, because can you see how this isn't sitting back in there snug? It's kind of, I mean, it's not loose, which is good, but it's definitely not tight. And it's just a little janky. And kind of what I was getting at before is that it's not like this is a brand new frame. I mean, this has been around for a long time. Okay, so here we go again. Stuff's not lining up. I don't know if you can see that, but that's not lining up with that hole. And I've got these bolts up here, here and here. These are impact tight. I mean, I can't suck it over anymore. And it's off like, I mean, God, that's off like 1/4 of an inch. See how many lava hot metal shavings I can get up in my. Get on my hands. Hot. Hot. Okay, well, I got that all drilled out. So that now, hopefully, our bolts will fit up through there. Oh, I'm so grouchy about this that I had to go get a cool, refreshing drink. Some kind of fizzy water. This one's not good for me, though. It's got aspartame in it. I mean, I don't know if anything's really good for you, much beyond water, but it's good. It's very sweet. I'm not used to sweet things. Okay. I'll calm down a little bit. And that is how you put the radius arm lowering brackets in. Oh. Well, I was planning on getting the rest of this, the front end components for this lift kit installed yet today. But between, cleaning the shop and my son smashing his thumb and the aggravation of nothing lining up with that stuff, I think I've had enough. But I tell you what, those radius arm lowering brackets, they're deceiving. They look very, very simple in principle. All you're doing is taking the old ones off, bolting the brackets on, and bolting the old radius arm brackets to the new lowering brackets. You're lowering the radius arm bracket, causing a lift in the frame. So we're not lowering this frame. I guess maybe I should clarify that. But it looks deceivingly simple, and it would be if things lined up. And I'm not being critical of rough country or anything like that, but I am trying to give an honest review on this. Now, I'm not saying that I'm like an expert mechanic, but I tell you what, I've been turning wrenches since I could conceive in my brain that a wrench went on the head of a bolt. So I kicked around just a little bit. And this is not something that I think, you're your average everyday Home Depot shopper is going to want to take on. And I don't mean that in a degrading way. I really don't. But if you don't have the capabilities of doing something, you don't have the capabilities of doing it. I can't imagine how frustrated I would be fighting this on a full vehicle, jacking up, laying underneath it, in the driveway with maybe just my Harbor Freight, mechanics tool set or whatever. It's aggravating. It is aggravating. I was able to work over the frame, especially with all that drilling. Can you imagine drilling some of those holes while you're laying on your back? I mean, that would suck. Get yourself a good face shield, I can tell you that much. But yeah, I mean, so I'll give an overall review when I get this whole thing done. But so far, I'm hoping I tackled the hardest thing first, which is the way I usually like to do things. But that was way more difficult than I feel like it should have been. And kind of what I was alluding to before. So this frame is not exactly something cutting edge new on the market. This has been around for darn near as long as I've been alive. So, I mean, you're talking the better part of almost 50 years. So some refinement could be done with it. I'm just saying. Is this something that the novice can do in their driveway on a Saturday? I'm going to say no. I'm gonna say no. Just in putting those, and that was 2 components. Putting those 2 components on for this lift kit. So 2 out of, I don't know, 6, 8 different pieces that this comes with, and that includes the shocks. No, this is not something that can simply be done. But I'm going to save the rest of my review for when I get everything done. So lift kit aside, I had a pretty good day. Like I said before, I'm pretty much mentally exhausted. So I think I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to go inside. I'm going to eat some supper and probably edit video. So I appreciate everybody watching. If you make it to this point in the video, man, please give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please, please, please subscribe. I so very much appreciate it. It's been a trip, me building this channel, and it's been a lot of fun. I've really, really enjoyed it. So, and I'm gonna keep going. So, appreciate everybody watching along. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.